Hemingway, and I'm going to be looking at two of his most distinct elements of his writing style to help decide whether he's a great author or not. First thing. So, of Hemingway's seminal works, I read A Farewell to Arms and The Old Man and the Sea. So these are usually regarded as his most popular books, and I think I enjoyed reading them. So Hemingway's background is that he grew up in Oak Park, Illinois, and after high school he reported for the Kansas City Star, a local newspaper, before leaving to enlist in World War I and fight in the Italian front. During 1918, he was seriously wounded and had to return home, and his wartime experiences founded the basis for A Farewell to Arms. And later in life, he moved to Florida and Cuba, and this helped give him cultural context, which he later used in The Old Man and the Sea. And he unfortunately suffered ill health later in his life and committed suicide at the age of 61. So World War I had a great influence on Hemingway's writing. World War I, for the most of the American public, brought about a great disillusionment, and the public realized that the old doctrines that are deeply embedded in Western religion and ethical systems just couldn't save them from the catastrophic war and the atrocities in it. So after losing faith in the traditionalist values, Hemingway looked at, as a World War I veteran, he tried to look for a different set of values and modern philosophies. So he formulated his own code, and in his code, his principal ideals are basically about honor, courage, endurance in a life of stress, misfortune, pain, and a great emphasis on grace under pressure. So all of Hemingway's protagonists, especially his earlier novels, abided by this code, acting bravely in their violent and disorderly worlds. So critics nicknamed Hemingway's character as the code hero or the Hemingway hero. So so the code hero is especially popular among male readers because the male readers often identified him with almost a dream sense, as he was the Hemingway hero was often very masculine, taking part in manly activities such as drinking, love affairs, and bullfighting. So the resolution in all a major occurring thing in all of his books is that it's basically an individual's journey, and at the end of all his novels, the code hero either gets fulfillment from becoming a man or proving his manhood. So in The Old Man and the Sea, Santiago is a protagonist, and he's a really old fisherman who has been unsuccessful and hasn't caught a fish in 84 days. So in pursuit of his former glory and fame, and pride, he hunts a great marlin to prove that his manhood despite his age. So the book represents a man versus nature conflict in which Santiago is challenged to persevere against the harsh sea. So this quote shows a duality between Santiago's internal mental determination and his physical body's lack of endurance. So which is a distinct quality that all of Hemingway's code heroes share as well. So by using personification and synecdoche to refer to his hand, he detaches his mental objective self from his, flawed physical anatomy, since he's really old, and he refuses to be accountable of or not given to the pressures of his aging body shortcomings. So what critics see in the code hero is that he's an existentialist. So all the characters are searching for a purpose in life, and they're trying to make their own purpose throughout the novel. And what they also notice is that Hemingway often introduces the theme of death to reduce the problem of existence to the lowest common denominator. So it's just based on the inevitable end of life. So by hunting this marlin, Santiago tries to establish his own purpose in life. So by presenting a situation where he either achieves the pinnacle of manhood by being able to kill the fish, or die serving his purpose as a fisherman. So what he does by presenting himself in this situation is that he he doesn't want to just become an old man and die peacefully, and doesn't want to just like be super capable and live a life without meaning. So then personal laws of nature apply to the Hemingway's world. Santiago explains that the fish has a right to kill him since he's old and weak. But by chasing this dangerous marlin, Santiago also seeks a release of some sort. He feels ashamed to die old and weak, yet recognizes that his body is slowly deteriorating with his age. So hunting this marlin is a mental and physical test to determine whether he's still fit to live and whether his body is still in a good enough condition. So he states earlier that to pursue the great marlin is that which he is born for. So this implies a great predetermination or fate. But on the other hand, it also contrasts the marlin whose goal in life and his purpose is just to live in the deepest parts of the sea and escape the pursuit of man. So this defines the role of man in nature. So Santiago tests his purpose against the will of the marlins, establishing his purpose in life and his determination is stronger than the fish's. And the fish's purpose to live. Santiago believes that he can also prove his manhood by showing that he's able to defeat the fish and that his determination is stronger than the fish's. So, but he also accepts the possibility that he may die at the hand of the fish, because if he's too weak to hunt the fish, he accepts that he deserves to die, kind of. So when he succeeds in the hunt, when he finally kills a fish, Santiago validates his greatness in the world, which continuously seeks to deprive him of it, showing grace under pressure. So the second thing I'll be talking about in Hemingway's writing is the iceberg theory. So this is just basically a writing style, just going by Ernest Hemingway, and this really brings back to his roots as a journalist, because as a journalist, he had to write about immediate events with little context or interpretation, so he can't really put his opinion into his writing. So this carried over into the writing of his novels. And when he became a writer of short stories, he retained his minimalistic styles, focusing on elements without explicitly discussing the themes. So he believed that the reader should should seek the deeper meaning of a story, like implicitly under the surface. So basically what the iceberg is that it's usually just descriptions at the tip of the iceberg, and then the readers have to imply like a certain meaning or depth under it. So in the Farewell to Arms, Frederick is just it's kind of a tragic story. Frederick's a Frederick's a ambulance driver in World War I, just as Hemingway was, and he deserts World War I after like seeing how horrible it is, and with a nurse he finds and marries her, but then they give birth to a stillborn, and this is basically Hemingway describing Frederick's reaction to it. Hemingway's depictions of war basically revolve around physical sensations produced by food and drink. So he doesn't really describe Frederick's feelings, but we can really see into it, because he describes in detail the breakfast after his wife Catherine gives birth, has a miscarriage. So here the theory of emission is used because the consumption of food is aestheticized and really focused on, which is basically the concrete, objective way you can look at things. So it continues a certain motif of physical sensations as life-affirming, and the passage is placed between the death of Frederick's son and the death of his wife, which occurs really close after. So the food and drink represents an escape from the trauma of war and personal loss, and the narration in physical sensations becomes a substitute for an acute sense of loss which can't be articulated that well. So Hemingway's writing style explicitly states a mere description of what a character is eating, but is implicitly building on the book's themes of morality and death. Yeah. So he just focuses on concrete events to illicitly make a deeper meaning. So here, what's happening here is basically he's in a train, but he's not. I mean, on a train. He's in an ambulance, but he's a passenger rather than a driver. And the death of a fellow soldier is narrated through the frequency of blood drops that fall on Frederick, signifying his undeniable presence and proximity of death. So this abstraction is narrated through a description of the physical body, and the blood functions as a material metonym for death. So he also uses a simile to he doesn't exactly state that he dies, so the readers have to imply it as well, because he compares it to the blood drops as an icicle after the sun is gone. So for my creative artifact, it might not be displayed so well, but it's basically Hemingway as an iceberg and his head as the tip. So this theory basically represents that the concrete descriptive information is at the tip, and it's what the readers get at face value. So I chose to use Hemingway's face to represent it. And yeah, it's also Hemingway's writing is also very much like speech. It's very colloquial and direct. So I just use his head to symbolize that as well. And yeah, it's very unadorned. So I think that Hemingway's writing styles have made a great impact among other authors and have, I guess, started a trend to move away from flowery writing, which is great. So he's a great author.